got some positive feedback for my city organization videos, which kind of inspired me to make another video that I've thought about a lot, and I talk with my teammates a lot about. That kind of motivated me to make a video for YouTube to share with other people as well. When we're looking at city hardware, so I'm actually going to play through my city in a practical way. So when we're talking about hardware, what do you prioritize? Like, is Feta better than Airship, right? When we're looking at these buildings and saying, this building puts out this per tile, is it better than XYZ building? There's a lot of different criteria in here. Obviously you want forge points. If you're in Titan, you probably want goods. You probably want goods out of any era. But if you're in Titan, that's a pretty big criteria just for your Saturn GBs, right? You've got attack boost as well, red and blue, troops. I don't have an Alcatraz, so I need troops from airships, which is why I prioritize those. There's a lot of different variables in here. My top 3 criteria, forge points is actually number 2, which is kind of ironic because my city nickname is Forge Point Machine, so that's kind of ironic, but it's actually my second priority. My third priority would be goods, and then priority 4, 5, 6 is going to be attack, troops, whatever, in various order. My first priority is actually fragments, so I'm going to walk you through some practical applications of why I prioritize fragments. So first of all, before we even get into the mechanics, I have a lot of these dragon ships, right? You can see my diamond bar up here. I've got 926. I don't spend a lot on this game. I do buy diamonds from time to time, but I don't spend a whole lot. I spend just enough to get this building right here, which gives me dragon fragments, and then I print the fragments that I need in order to duplicate this building 12 times, right? Make sense? Currently, I have the highest blue galaxy on the server and actively working on it as well. So I will be flipping it once or twice a week usually. And that kind of ties into that. So my main priority is actually fragments, even above forge points. So I'm going to pause it. I'm going to set up some recurring quests as well as the event quests for this eco event and show you some practical applications of how that works. Alright, so I've got a few scenarios set up for you. Let's hop into this quest thing. I have to build 2 cultural buildings, and Titan cultural buildings are pretty large. This is 5x5, this is the smallest, or 5x5 from previous era. And you can look around my city and see that I probably don't have room for that. I do have some space in here that's earmarked for airships, and then some single spot for a Feta there. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot of real estate. So that would potentially be a difficult task, and I'll walk you through how we're going to overcome that. Daily's completed. I also have this gather supplies, pay coins, which is fine, and then spend forge points. But when I look at my bar, I've only got 5 in the bar, so it's going to be hard to spend forge points theoretically, right? And then Rival Challenge wants me to finish 8-hour productions. Okay. So there's 3 challenges there that I really can't easily accomplish with my city. And normally I would let this cook. Obviously I started this 8-hour timer a while ago. But for the purposes of the video, we're gonna rush that. So I'm getting supply rushes from Ori, and we're gonna just dump 2 of them. This is gonna complete that portion of the rival task, right? And it's also, yep, completes that. Also completes the supply task on this thing. So I'm gonna cycle into this one. So this is an RQ, gain 40,000, and normally I wouldn't RQ this, but it does come up as an event task sometimes. So do you really want to sell this jump-in pumpkin? You'll get back 20,000. Yes, yes. I'm gonna sell 2 of them, and that completes that task. And normally I wouldn't RQ that, like I'm not gonna sell 2 pumpkins for 1,000,000 coins. But if it does come up as a event quest, gain population, or plant a current age supply building, that's fine. We'll just delete 2 of them and then come back into inventory, plant 2 more. And the key here is that you have sustainable amounts of fragments. So I produce a pumpkin every 3 days from the Shroom Throne fragments. And the building itself is not stellar, but the fragments make the game more playable. So I completed a task and deleted 2 buildings, replanted them, that I'll replenish in 3 days anyways, and my production timers are right back where they started. Okay, so now we need to, we could buy forge points. I guess we'll do that since we're on it. Put it on my, throw it on Blue Galaxy probably. Okay, so now I need to spend forge points. Let's say I don't have anything ready, which I don't, because I collect in the morning, so I'm 9 hours away from collection. So we need to rush that, right, in order to finish this task. So we're going to hit finish. This completes my 265 on those. My rival is, or my event is also asking me to build a cultural building though. Okay. And we talked about that in the first part of the video. That's a huge building. So I just stored an eco, right? And now we're going to plant the cultural building that we need, times 2. There's 1. There's 2. Completes that task, yes. And we'll put the eco back. Where it belongs. And it's going to mess up the timer, obviously, because I normally collect in the morning. But in the morning, when I want to collect eco with my Blue Galaxy, I'll just hit another finish special production. So there's a few key ingredients here that make that work. That's the ectoplasmic selection kits, the store buildings. I use and abuse those heavily, and it's not to store hardware, it's to recycle hardware, like what I just demonstrated. Pumpkins, I produce enough of them to just delete and then replant a new building without wasting a store kit. But I use that boost item frequently. Same with finish special. I normally would not do this. Like I wouldn't really need to rush these normally, but for the purposes of the video, I'll do it. I have space for an airship. Let's see if I got one in storage. I don't. Okay. Bummer. Can I get one if I really need it by doing this? There you go. Mission accomplished. So, finished special kits. Jesters are extremely underrated, in my opinion. It's 35 goods. There's no red stats on it. It's just blue stats. No forge points. Okay. 10 Jester stages are equivalent to one finished special. So, on paper, this does not provide forge points, correct? It's 35 goods, boost fragments, and some blueprints. That's it. Right. But in reality, 10 Jesters is actually equal to 265 forge points, roughly 26 forge points per Jester. Because the boost kit that I just used, the finished special, in order to collect that eco that I've already dipped twice just in this video, and I'll dip again tomorrow when I collect Blue Galaxy, right? So I'm getting that fragment from these Jester stages. So the Jester stage itself does not give me blueprints, but it gives me the ability to collect eco 2-3 times. I mean, I could hit it 50 more times if I wanted tonight, which I'm not going to do. It's unnecessary and kind of redundant. But I would be able to if I wanted to, right? Building fragments also, like I said, I printed all these crimsons just from the calendar event, and then the golden 1% prize or whatever, which is really not that hard to accomplish. If you guys watch Uber Nerd's videos, he gives you a pretty foolproof system for accomplishing the 1% prize on most events without spending a ton of diamonds. I mean, 50 diamonds here and there, and you'll be sitting pretty. So that's pretty achievable. And then from there, just use your kits in order to manipulate these, the production on these. And it could be finish special, it could be rush your supplies, right? Could also be building fragments. So if I need to delete my pumpkins and recycle for a quest, I'm able to do that. I am a ways away from getting another Feta. I've only got 4 frags out of 100, so we could plant a cider in there. And then when I do get a Feta, I'll just delete the cider. And I'm getting cider fragments from all these granny trees. And the stats on these are terrible. It's 2 forge points, 3% blue, and a couple fragments. The stats on that is absolutely terrible in the grand scheme of things, right? But the ability to add 9% red attack, 13% red defense, 5 forge points, and then delete it when I don't need it anymore, that's actually worth something, right? And that comes from fragment production. So of all the metrics in the game, I would say that even more than forge points or attack stats, I mean, Chateau is obviously excellent for goods. Let's see what my Chateau gave me here is forge points and blueprints. That's cool. Chateau is great for goods, right? Forge points and attack from Castle de Monte. That's awesome. But above all of those things, I actually prioritize fragments more than anything else. It's building fragments as well as boost items. So store item is a big one, and then finish special is probably my favorite. The finish all is kind of a luxury, so save those for a rainy day. But that one is the creme de la creme, I think.